Welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever found yourself navigating a world that feels, well, completely overwhelming, maybe facing powers that seem just insurmountable? What kind of wisdom, what kind of integrity could possibly stand up to that? I mean, imagine a young man forcibly uprooted, exiled, suddenly thrust into the gilded, formidable heart of the most powerful empire on Earth.
With basically nothing.
Nothing but his principles and this extraordinary, almost impossible gift. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We're diving into a narrative packed with intrigue, impossible demands, and truly astonishing events.
Absolutely.
Our mission today is to explore the incredible story of Daniel, drawing deep insights directly from his ancient account, found in the book of Daniel.
Right.
We'll explore timeless themes of resilience, profound wisdom, chilling prophecy, and the unexpected, dramatic ways power shifts.
All through these specific events.
Exactly, these high-stakes events that shaped his life during the Babylonian and Persian empires.
So where do we start? Babylon.
Yeah, let's set the scene. Our story begins when Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, laid siege to Jerusalem and conquered it.
A common tactic, then.
Right, and as was often the custom, he sought to absorb the best and brightest. He took some of the most promising young people from Jerusalem back to Babylon.
And these weren't just random captives, were they?
No, not at all. They were young men from the royal family, the nobility chosen specifically.
Okay, chosen how?
Well, the text says they had no physical defect, they were handsome, they had an aptitude for every kind of learning, quick understanding, basically qualified to serve in the king's palace.
What's fascinating here is the sheer intent behind this. Nebuchadnezzar wasn't just taking hostages, he was recruiting future leaders.
Right, aiming to fully indoctrinate them into Babylonian culture.
Exactly. His chief court official, Ashpenaz, was ordered to train them for 3 years. Babylonian language, literature.
The works.
The full package. Even providing them daily royal food and wine from the king's own table. It was total cultural immersion.
Designed to turn them into loyal, influential servants of the empire.
And part of that, of course, was changing their names.
And as part of that integration, their very identities were sort of rebranded. Daniel became Belteshazzar.
Hananiah to Shadrach.
Mishael to Meshach, and Azariah was renamed Abednego. But this is where Daniel's core conviction emerges almost immediately, isn't it?
It really is, that quiet decision.
He made a quiet but firm decision not to defile himself with the royal food and wine.
Which was risky.
He asked the chief official for permission not to, but the official was worried, fearing the king's wrath if Daniel and his friends looked worse off.
A very real fear back then. It was a significant risk Daniel took.
Absolutely. Daniel wasn't challenging the king directly, but making a stand on personal integrity.
So he proposed that test.
Exactly. He proposed a very specific 10-day test to the guard. Just vegetables and water for him and his friends.
And the outcome?
Well, the outcome was quite striking. After 10 days, they looked healthier and better nourished than all the other young men eating the royal food.
Really? Demonstrably better.
Yeah, this demonstrable result led the guard to switch their diet permanently. This initial stand, seemingly small, it really laid the groundwork.
It showed that quiet strength, didn't it? It wasn't just physical well-being. It extended to their whole capacity.
That's incredible. And the account makes it clear this wasn't just about diet. Like you said, it states God gave these 4 young men knowledge and understanding of all kinds of literature and learning.
In something special for Daniel.
Yes, and specifically for Daniel, he could understand visions and dreams of all kinds.
Wow.
So when the 3 years were up and they were presented to Nebuchadnezzar, the king found them, get this, 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters in his whole kingdom.
10 times better.
In every matter of wisdom and understanding. They immediately secured their place in the king's service. So this initial quiet act of integrity laid a crucial foundation.
But things were about to escalate.
Oh, yeah. Daniel and his friends were about to face challenges that would test that foundation in far more dramatic, even life-threatening ways, wouldn't they?
Indeed. Their roles would quickly become extraordinary because Nebuchadnezzar himself was about to face a crisis. A big one.
The dream.
The dream. In the 2nd year of his reign, he had these dreams that troubled him so deeply he couldn't sleep.
So he calls everyone in.
He summoned all his wise men magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, astrologers, and demanded not only that they interpret his dream,
which is standard,
but first they had to tell him what the dream was.
An impossible task.
Completely. The penalty for failure, dismemberment, ruin for their homes. Success, though, great honor and gifts.
So the wise men are understandably panicking.
They were in an impossible situation. They basically told the king, look, no man on earth can do what you're asking.
He said only the gods could do it.
Right, arguing that only gods who don't dwell among humans could reveal such a mystery. Which,
Made the king furious.
absolutely furious. He issued a decree to execute all the wise men of Babylon.
Which included Daniel and his friends.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting, like you said earlier. Daniel, facing execution, doesn't just ask for time.
He does something else first.
He turns to a higher power. A mystery that baffled an entire kingdom is about to be revealed to him.
He spoke with wisdom and tact, didn't he? To Arioch, the commander of the king's guard.
Yes, asking for time to interpret the dream. Daniel then went home, gathered his friends.
Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego.
Right. And urged them to pray for mercy concerning this mystery. And that very night,
The answer comes.
the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision.
And Daniel's response wasn't self-congratulatory, was it?
No, not at all. He immediately praised God, acknowledging that wisdom and power are his, that he changes times and seasons and reveals deep and hidden things.
Humility in the face of revelation.
Definitely. When he stood before Nebuchadnezzar, he humbly declared that no human wise man could explain the mystery. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries.
Making it clear it wasn't him.
Precisely. He made it clear the revelation wasn't due to his own superior wisdom, but a divine source.
So Daniel tells the king the dream. Nebuchadnezzar saw this huge, dazzling statue. Head of pure gold,
Chest and arms of silver.
belly and thighs bronze, then legs of iron, and the feet, a mixture.
Part iron, part baked clay. A fragile foundation.
Then, while the king watched, a rock, cut out but not by human hands, strikes the statue on its feet.
Right on the weakest point.
Smashes it completely into dust, just gone, swept away by the wind, leaving no trace.
But the rock.
The rock itself became a huge mountain and filled the whole earth. What an incredible, almost cinematic image, isn't it?
It really is. And the interpretation Daniel provides is equally powerful. It's like a map of history.
He told Nebuchadnezzar that he was the head of gold, representing his Babylonian kingdom.
Then comes silver.
After him, an inferior kingdom of silver would rise, then a third kingdom of bronze would rule the whole earth.
Then the strong one.
Finally, a fourth kingdom. Strong as iron, crushing all others. But the feet, that mix of iron and clay.
That signified a divided kingdom. Partly strong, partly brittle, unable to hold together.
Yeah, the crucial insight here is the transient nature of even the most powerful human empires. They don't last.
Exactly. And the rock.
The rock. That, Daniel explained, represented a kingdom that God would set up in the time of those kings, a kingdom that would never be destroyed.
It would crush all the others.
Right, it would crush all other kingdoms and endure forever. So Daniel not only nails the dream, but then lays out this incredible timeline of empires.
How groundbreaking was that for someone in that culture to speak with such authority about future kingdoms?
Especially to a ruler like Nebuchadnezzar.
It was revolutionary. Kings wanted to project eternal power, right?
Hmm.
But Daniel introduces this concept that no human kingdom is truly eternal.
And Nebuchadnezzar's reaction?
Immediate and profound. He fell prostrate before Daniel, paid him honor, declared Daniel's God, the God of gods and the Lord of kings. Daniel was placed in a high position, made ruler over the entire province of Babylon.
And his friends.
They were appointed administrators too. This moment profoundly shifted the king's perception of ultimate authority.
But it wasn't the end of Nebuchadnezzar's lessons, was it?
Not even close. This brings us to Nebuchadnezzar's second terrifying dream in chapter 4, which he actually recounts himself.
He describes seeing an enormous, strong tree. Its top touched the sky, visible everywhere.
Providing food and shelter for all creatures, a symbol of his own power and reach.
Then a messenger from heaven commands the tree to be cut down, leaves scattered, animals fleeing.
But not completely destroyed.
No, the stump and roots were to be left in the ground, bound with iron and bronze. And the decree.
The decree was that the one represented would be drenched with dew, live with animals for 7 times, often understood as 7 years, until he acknowledged that the Most High is sovereign over the kingdoms of men.
So Daniel has to interpret this one too?
Yes, and Daniel, though initially troubled by its implications for the king, interpreted it. He told him the tree was Nebuchadnezzar himself.
His great power and dominion.
Exactly. The cutting down meant he'd be driven from people, live like a wild animal, mind changed, until he acknowledged God's sovereignty.
But the stump remaining, That was hope, right?
It meant his kingdom would be restored once he acknowledged God. Daniel even advised the king to, change his ways.
Renounce your sins by doing what is right. Be kind to the oppressed.
Sound advice.
Did he take it?
Well, the account confirms the chilling fulfillment. 12 months later, Nebuchadnezzar is boasting about his great Babylon.
Is not this the great Babylon I have built?
Precisely. And a voice from heaven declares his royal authority is taken. Immediately, he's driven away, eats grass like cattle.
Body drenched with dew, hair like eagle feathers, nails like bird claws. It's graphic.
It's a complete humbling.
Yeah.
But after that time, whatever that period was,
he looks up.
Nebuchadnezzar raises his eyes to heaven. His sanity is restored. He praises and glorifies the Most High, acknowledging his eternal dominion.
And he gets his kingdom back.
He's restored to his throne, even greater than before, and concludes by praising the King of Heaven, saying, "Those who walk in pride, he is able to humble."
So the most powerful man in the world, literally brought to his knees, living like an animal. What's the profound lesson here, beyond just the drama?
I think it's about the stark difference between human authority, however absolute it seems, and divine sovereignty.
That all power is ultimately granted.
Exactly. Nebuchadnezzar, in his pride, claimed it all for himself, but was dramatically humbled to show that all human power is granted and overseen by a higher authority.
And his restoration depended on acknowledging that.
Right. It underscores that true power, or maybe true understanding, is found in humility and recognizing that ultimate authority. It's a powerful transformation narrative.
It really is. And this sets up some truly dramatic confrontations later, because Nebuchadnezzar wasn't the only one who faced these kinds of divine challenges.
No, his successors and Daniel's friends had their own trials.
Right. In chapter 3, the king Nebuchadnezzar, again, constructs this massive golden image, 90 feet high.
Huge. On the plain of Dura.
And issues a decree. Sound of music, everyone bows and worships,
or you get thrown into a blazing furnace. High stakes.
Everyone complies. So what does this mean for Daniel's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? They're administrators now.
Exactly. This sets up an incredible test of conviction for them.
Because some astrologers, probably jealous, denounce these 3 Jewish officials.
Reported that they refused to worship the image or serve the king's gods.
Nebuchadnezzar, furious, confronts them, gives them one more chance. Just bow down.
And their reply. It's just one of the most powerful statements of conviction anywhere.
They essentially say, we don't even need to defend ourselves.
If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us. But even if he does not.
We want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up.
But even if he does not part. That's profound faith. It wasn't just faith in deliverance, but faith regardless of the outcome.
Absolutely. This wasn't just faith. It was, like you said, a dramatic redefinition of power. The king's total command meets unshakable integrity.
It forces the question. Where does true power ultimately reside?
The king's fury just exploded. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual.
So hot the soldiers who threw them in were killed by the flames.
But then the miracle. Nebuchadnezzar looks in, amazed, and sees not 3 men, but 4.
4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed.
And the 4th, he says, looked like a son of the gods.
Yeah.
They come out of the furnace completely unharmed. No singed hair, no scorched robes, not even the smell of fire on them.
It defies all logic, all physics.
The king's reaction. He praises their God, issues a decree protecting anyone who speaks against him, and promotes Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Another complete reversal.
It's extraordinary. But beyond the miracle itself, what's this incident telling us about the nature of power when a king like this is forced to acknowledge something higher?
It tells us that true power isn't always visible on a throne or in a decree. Here, the king's absolute authority over life and death was, rendered meaningless by the divine.
It's that recurring pattern again.
Exactly. Unwavering conviction, even facing death, leads to a manifestation of power that transcends earthly might, forcing even defiant rulers to acknowledge a higher reality.
And the confrontations didn't stop there. They continued with the next king, Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar's son, in chapter 5.
Ah, yes, the writing on the wall.
Belshazzar held this massive banquet, 1,000 nobles. And in an act of profound disrespect, maybe arrogance.
Definitely arrogance. He ordered the gold and silver goblets taken from the temple in Jerusalem by his father to be brought in.
And they drank from them. He and his nobles, wives, concubines, praising their pagan gods using sacred vessels.
It was maximum sacrilege, And right then, in that moment,
fingers appeared.
suddenly, fingers of a human hand appear and start writing on the palace wall. The king goes pale, knees knocking. Pure terror.
And his wise men, useless again.
Just like before, they failed. Enchanters, astrologers, diviners, none could read or interpret the writing. The king's terror just deepens.
It wasn't just the unknown. It felt like a direct supernatural response to what they were doing.
Absolutely. It was the queen, actually, who finally suggested calling Daniel.
She remembered his wisdom from Nebuchadnezzar's time.
Right, so Daniel is summoned. And true to form, he refuses the king's promised gifts. The purple robe, gold chain, third highest ruler position.
Doesn't want the rewards.
No. But he agrees to interpret the writing. And he didn't pull any punches, did he?
Not at all. His message was stern. He reminded Belshazzar about Nebuchadnezzar's pride and how he was humbled.
Basically saying, you knew all this and you still didn't humble yourself.
Exactly. He rebuked the king directly for dishonoring God, using the temple vessels, praising false gods. Then he delivered the message.
The writing itself. Many, tekel, parson.
And the interpretation was chilling. Maine, God has numbered the days of your reign and brought it to an end.
Twice for emphasis. Numbered.
Tekel. You have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. Ouch.
Yeah, found lacking.
And Perez from Parson. Your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians.
And the fulfillment.
Immediate and dramatic. The account says that very night, Belshazzar, the king of Babylon, was slain.
Wow. Just like that.
And Darius the Mede took over the kingdom. He was 62 years old. It's such a stark reminder power can vanish overnight.
A very stark reminder. This transition brings us to Daniel's perhaps most famous confrontation. The lion's den in chapter 6.
Under the new ruler, Darius the Mede.
Right. Darius appointed 120 satraps with 3 administrators over them, and Daniel was one of the 3.
And Daniel excelled.
He distinguished himself such capability, such integrity, that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom.
Which naturally didn't sit well with the others.
Of course not. It bred extreme jealousy.
Wow.
Other administrators and satraps tried to find fault with Daniel's work, but couldn't find any corruption. Nothing.
He was blameless in his duties.
So they realized their only chance was to trap him using his faith. Something to do with the law of his God.
So they devised this cunning plan.
A brilliant, wicked trap. They persuaded King Darius to issue an unchangeable decree law of the Medes and Persians can't be repealed.
And the decree was?
For 30 days, anyone who prayed to any god or man, except King Darius, would be thrown into the lion's den.
It was aimed squarely at Daniel. They knew his habits.
Exactly. Knowing the decree had been published, Daniel's obedience to God remained unwavering. He went home,
to his upstairs room,
windows open toward Jerusalem, and he prayed 3 times a day, just as he had done before. No hiding.
And the conspirators were watching.
Immediately found him praying, reported him to the king. Darius was greatly distressed. He actually liked Daniel.
He tried to save him, didn't he?
Tried desperately all day until sundown, but he couldn't repeal the unchangeable law. His hands were tied by his own decree.
So Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. The king, in anguish, actually said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you."
A flicker of hope, maybe?
Yeah.
A stone sealed the den. Darius spent a sleepless fasting night, clearly troubled.
But at dawn...
He rushed to the den, called out to Daniel, probably fearing the worst.
And Daniel answers?
Daniel replies that his God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. He was found innocent.
Lifted out, completely unharmed.
Incredible. The king, overjoyed, then commanded that the men who falsely accused Daniel,
Give back time.
them, their wives, their children thrown into the den, and the text says the lions overpowered them and crushed their bones immediately.
A grim, swift justice.
Then King Darius issued another decree for all peoples to fear and reverence the God of Daniel, proclaiming him the living God who rescues and saves, whose kingdom would never be destroyed.
And Daniel?
The account tells us Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian.
So we've seen the furnace, the writing on the wall, the lion's den, these repeated patterns of miraculous deliverance. What do they tell us about conviction versus earthly authority?
Each instance really builds on the last, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Showcasing this consistent theme. True conviction, rooted in something beyond the immediate, can utterly disrupt the mechanisms of absolute human power.
Whether it's fire or lions.
Right. The unwavering integrity and trust in a higher power consistently led to outcomes that defied all human expectation and control. It highlights that even the most formidable human rule has limits when confronted by a superior divine will.
Now, as if navigating all that political intrigue and miraculous escapes wasn't enough, Daniel also received these profound prophetic visions, huge shifts in focus.
Yes, about future kingdoms, future events. In the first year of Belshazzar's reign, Daniel had this dream, a vision of 4 distinct, symbolic beasts rising from the sea.
Beasts representing kingdoms.
Exactly. Powerful metaphors. He saw a lion with eagle's wings, symbolizing maybe Babylon, swift and powerful.
Then a bear.
Representing a crushing, devouring empire, perhaps Media Persia. Next, a swift leopard with 4 heads and wings.
Maybe Greece, conquering quickly then dividing.
That's a common interpretation.
Yeah.
And finally, a terrifying, powerful 4th beast with iron teeth and 10 horns, crushing everything. Maybe Rome?
Different interpretations exist, but the pattern is empires rising and falling. But there was something else about that 4th beast, wasn't there?
Yes, the crucial insight wasn't just their power, but their impermanence. From this 4th beast, a small, boastful horn would emerge.
Representing an arrogant king or power that would rise and oppress.
Right. But then the vision shifts dramatically.
To the heavens, he saw a majestic, eternal figure, the Ancient of Days, taking his throne, surrounded by countless attendants.
The scene of ultimate judgment and authority, and then that pivotal vision.
One like a son of man.
Coming with the clouds of heaven, approaching the Ancient of Days. This figure, embodying both human and divine authority, was given authority, glory, and sovereign power.
An everlasting dominion.
Exactly. That will not pass away. The interpretation given to Daniel was that the 4 beasts are 4 kingdoms, but ultimately...
The saints of the Most High will receive the kingdom and will possess it forever.
Right. Yeah, the 4th beast is a kingdom that devours the whole earth. The little horn is a later king who speaks against the Most High, oppresses the saints for a time, times and half a time, a specific prophetic period.
Often interpreted as 3.5 years or a symbolic period of persecution.
Yes, before his power is taken away and sovereignty is given to the saints, whose kingdom is everlasting. It's a remarkable sweep of history and prophecy.
And there were more visions.
Oh, yes. In the 3rd year of King Belshazzar's reign, another significant vision by the Ulai Canal. This time, a ram and a goat.
The ram with 2 horns, one longer, charging powerfully.
Representing, Daniel was told, the kings of Media and Persia. This ram is then fiercely attacked by a shaggy goat with a prominent horn.
Coming from the west, super fast.
Right, crossing the earth without touching the ground. Symbolizing the king of Greece, Alexander the Great, perhaps. The goat shatters the ram's horns, tramples it.
But the goat's horn breaks, too.
Yes, at the height of its power, the large horn breaks, and 4 prominent horns grow in its place, toward the 4 winds.
Signifying the division of Alexander's empire after his death.
Precisely. Then, from one of these 4 horns, a small horn emerges, grows greatly, attacks the host of the heavens, takes away the daily sacrifice, brings the sanctuary low.
This sounds like a specific historical figure or event being foretold.
It certainly seems so. Daniel even heard a holy one ask how long this defilement would last, with the answer, 2,300 evenings and mornings, pointing to the sanctuary's eventual reconsecration.
And Gabriel interprets this one, too.
Yes, Gabriel appears again. Ram in Media and Persia, goat, Greece, large horn, 1st king, 4 horns, 4 kingdoms from his nation.
And the small horn.
A stern-faced king, a master of intrigue, arising later, becoming strong not by his own power, causing astounding devastation, destroying mighty and holy people, setting himself against the Prince of Princes, but ultimately destroyed not by human power.
Very detailed.
Incredibly, Daniel was told to seal up the vision, for it concerns the distant future. He was left exhausted and appalled by the gravity of it all.
Understandably. He continued to receive these profound revelations, though. Chapter 9, he's reading Jeremiah.
Right, he understands from Jeremiah's prophecy that Jerusalem's desolation would last 70 years. This prompts him to pray.
A long prayer, confessing Israel's sins, pleading for mercy on Jerusalem.
And while he's praying, Gabriel arrives again to give him insight and understanding.
This time about the 77s.
Yes, 70 periods of 7 years, 490 years total, decreed for his people and the holy city to achieve major divine purposes. Finish transgression, end sin, atone for wickedness, bring in everlasting righteousness, seal up vision and prophecy, and anoint the most holy.
It sets a timeline, doesn't it?
A very specific timeline. From the decree to rebuild Jerusalem until the Anointed One, the ruler, comes, there would be 7 sevens plus 69 sevens, or 483 years.
Then after that.
After the 62 sevens, the Anointed One will be cut off, and the people of a coming ruler will destroy the city and the sanctuary.
And there's that final 7, the 70th week.
Crucial part. A future ruler will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. In the middle of the 7, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering.
And set up the abomination that causes desolation.
Yes, that phrase again. A blasphemous act polluting the sacred place until the end that is decreed is poured out on him. Incredibly specific, outlining future events towards a major culmination.
The detail is just staggering, and it kept coming.
Indeed. The prophecies continued for Daniel in chapters 10-12. It starts after a period where Daniel was mourning and fasting deeply.
He sees another figure.
A glorious figure, described in incredible detail, radiating light, body like chrysolite, voice like a multitude. This figure tells Daniel he's highly esteemed, not to be afraid.
And that he's come to explain the future.
Right, but interestingly, he mentions being resisted by the prince of the Persian kingdom, a spiritual resistance, for 21 days until Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help. Hints of cosmic conflict behind earthly events.
Wow. And the vision itself.
It delves into extremely detailed prophecies. Future Persian kings, a mighty Greek king whose empire breaks into 4, then this complex back and forth.
Kings of the north and south.
Exactly. A series of conflicts, alliances, invasions, deceit, battles between a king of the south, often linked to the Ptolemies in Egypt, and a king of the north, often linked to the Seleucids in Syria.
And it gets even more specific.
Very. It foretells a contemptible person seizing power through intrigue, destroying armies, breaking covenants, acting deceitfully, invading rich provinces.
And setting himself against the Holy Covenant.
Yes, this figure would desecrate the temple fortress, abolish the daily sacrifice, and again, set up the abomination that causes desolation, exalting himself above every god.
This section feels like it's mapping out history yet to come for Daniel.
It really does. It reveals this profound sense, even back then, of history unfolding not randomly, but with specific patterns, conflicts, and ultimate conclusions. It makes you wonder how these patterns resonate today.
And how does this final vision conclude?
It culminates with a time of distress, such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then, but also the appearance of Michael, the great prince protecting Daniel's people.
And resurrection.
Yes, a resurrection. Many who sleep in the dust will awake. Some to everlasting life, others to shame and everlasting contempt. The wise, it says, will shine.
And Daniel is told to seal it up.
Close up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. He's given more timelines, 1,290 days, 1,375 days, tied to the abomination and the end of sacrifices.
And what about Daniel himself?
He's told, go your way till the end, you will rest, and then at the end of the days you will rise to receive your allotted inheritance. A personal promise of future restoration. It suggests understanding history's path can shape how you view your own life and future.
What an extraordinary journey we've taken through Daniel's life and visions. Just incredible.
It really is.
From his personal integrity, those miraculous deliverances in Babylon.
Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego too.
Right. To his profound visions mapping out empires rising and falling, and ultimately pointing towards an eternal kingdom.
That recurring theme is definitely there. Divine sovereignty over human affairs, however chaotic they seem.
This deep dive, it's not just history, is it? It reveals these timeless principles about resilience, courage,
Challenging injustice, the nature of power itself, the search for truth beyond just what's right in front of you.
It teaches us that those moments of intense pressure can reveal true character, and that integrity, when you hold on to it, can challenge even the most absolute authority.
Absolutely.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? Given Daniel's incredible story and navigating these powerful empires, receiving these profound revelations, what stands out to you? What strikes you about the kind of wisdom that truly endures? And maybe what might that wisdom empower you to consider in your own world, especially when you're faced with seemingly overwhelming odds? Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep getting well informed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.